as we inch closer to the halfway point of the 2020 USL Championship season. We see a pair of teams in Group F on the outside looking in as it stands in the current playoff picture. New York Red Bulls 2 visits Philadelphia Union 2, presented by Sun East Federal Credit Union. Alongside former Manchester United keeper Gary Bailey, I'm Spencer Siegel. Happy to be with you tonight. As we get ready for this one, the storyline first belongs to Marlon LeBlanc, brand new coach for Union 2, as Sven Gartung and the Union mutually agreed to part ways. LeBlanc, former longtime coach of West Virginia, and Gary, he comes in with a fresh set of players and a new task.
It's a big task as well, isn't it? To pick this team up. We've had a pretty rough start. Really good talent in the team, but you've got to start winning games. Clearly, that's why the previous coach, Sven Gartung, has left. And now Marlon LeBlanc is the man at the helm.
Well, they've shown flashes this season, and for Union 2, you go to the game against Hartford, and they scored 2 early goals to take a 2-0 lead, and that built their confidence up. But as we heard Coach LeBlanc say when he watched the highlights of that game and started to break it down, the ability to put a team away and finish is another hurdle that a young side has to overcome.
Yeah, early goal there, Yomi Shuntu pouncing on a Kevin Pollitt's area. And this one here, pulled back by Danny Flores to Axel Picasso. He finishes it past Mandanda into the corner, but you're right, from a 2-0 lead, they lost that match by 3-2.
Well, they've played the Pittsburgh Riverhounds twice, and they would be happy if they didn't see Pittsburgh anymore the rest of the season. 2 games on aggregate, it's 10-0, and Canardo Forbes broke the USL assist record in the most recent game this past weekend. But again, for Philly, this is about learning and experience, and one of those key elements that LeBlanc talked about was defending on corners. Yeah,
one in there. Van Kayazil gets that one. Look at this one here. Headed up, allowed to be hooked back in, and allowed a shot into the corner. Good finish, mind you, but that's 2 goals from 2 corners. They lose it by 4. That's not the way to defend.
Meanwhile, this is not the Pittsburgh Riverhounds pregame show, but Pittsburgh and New York also got a chance to play, and it was Red Bulls 2 who got a win, a late winner in this one, which has been sort of a trend for Pittsburgh the last couple of weeks. But how about that touch and settle? This is a team that looks to be on the mend after an 0-2 start.
Yeah, fantastic strike by Omar Sow for the first one, and then Korf just steps up and sends the keeper the wrong way, and Caden Clark playing a part in both those goals with crucial passes.
Both teams are trying to grab a win. For Red Bulls 2, they've won 2 in a row. Union 2 have lost 4 in a row. Subaru Park, our site. Kickoff when we return.
Acme is bringing the fresh every day. Crispy, juicy, delicious. We're cutting fresh, so you don't have to. Slicing fresh in store. Icing, baking, and flower bouquet making. This is how we do fresh. Come and get it. Acme, the official supermarket of the Philadelphia Union.
The summer of 2020 will be unusual and historic. Let us write the story together, enjoying the weather while staying safe. Wear a mask when you're outside. Keep up social distancing as we keep up our spirits. The usual destinations may not be open or may have restrictions. Conditions may change, so check websites as the summer goes on. Let us make history by enjoying the sunshine and together beating COVID-19.
You get a look at the new headman for Union 2, Marlon LeBlanc, as the players take a knee in solidarity. As we look at his starting 11, the first time that he has to name 11 players, and this is what it looks like. For Union 2, it will play more of a 4-4-2 with a diamond-shaped midfield, those 4, but Gary, so many young players. 17 and a half years old is the average age of these 11 players.
That's incredible. That's absolutely awesome. And 4 changes he has made as well. So he hasn't come in and kept the same side. In has come Anthony Sorensen and Steve Kingay, along with Paxton Aronson and Patrick Bowie. But you're right, Average age of 17.5. That's incredible.
Your starting lineups are presented by Sun East Federal Credit Union. This is Red Bulls 2. Coach John Wolniak playing it more as a 4-2-2-2 with the 4 in the midfield playing 2 and 2. And a new man, Keenan Hott, making his first start in a Red Bulls 2 uniform. And they get back the birthday boy. Chris Lema comes back from the New York Red Bulls #1 team. We are ready for kickoff. Red Bulls 2 will be in the powder blue and white jerseys. Union 2 will be in the dark blue. Philadelphia and New York in a matchup in Group F, ready to get underway. Referee Josh Encarnacion has a look at his watch, and we're ready to kick it off here at Subaru Park in Chester, PA. First start for John Tolkien as well, number 47 in light blue. And this is a giveaway right out of the gate, and a goal 19 seconds in. Union 2 capitalize on Wallace Lapsley's mistake. They jump out in front. It's Patrick Bowie.
Great to see him score early on, Patrick Bowie, but what a howler there from the goalkeeper in the first minute, perhaps when you should be playing it safe and just knock it down the pitch, and Lapsley gets caught out. Let's have a look at it again. A ball back to the goalkeeper, looks up, he's going to try and play it short and find someone. In the end, he just plays a little ball there, doesn't even reach Preston Kilwine, and he gets punished for it. The worst possible start there for New York Red Bulls, and the best possible start for young Patrick Bowie.
Well, it's time to break out the USL record book and take a look and see where that ranks in terms of one of the fastest goals in USL history. Unofficially, we're looking at about 19 seconds, Gary.
Yeah, it's very quick. It's basically the first move of the match, and for the goalkeeper, not the best start, obviously, especially when, if you go back a little while, he had a really bad error against Hartford where he's come out and misjudged the ball from the kick from the other goalkeeper, and that ended up with a goal being scored by Guzman. So time for New York Red Bulls to bounce back.
That is one of the 10 fastest goals in USL history. The fastest was set last year by Justin Dillon of Tacoma. That was 9 seconds. And now Omar Sow is down, and for Red Bulls 2, this is about as disastrous of a first 2 minutes that you can hope for. That does not look like a pleasant injury for Sow.
Yeah, I didn't even see anything either. Didn't quite sure why he went down. And he would be a huge loss because his equalizer against Pittsburgh in their last match was a stunning left foot strike into the top corner, and he looks like a really exciting talent. So to lose him this early in the match would be a massive, massive blow for Red Bulls 2. But I guess on the upside, if you're a new coach, Marlon LeBlanc, and your team has won the up within, what did you say it was?
19 seconds.
19
Unofficially,
seconds.
of course.
It's probably the best possible start a coach could have.
So to his feet, we'll see if we can take another look. The 19-year-old from Harrison, New Jersey, originally of the Gambia. This is So making the run. Couldn't see anything from that angle. Patrick Bowie, the goal scorer for Union 2, 16 years old, from the Ivory Coast. A corner from Lema, headed clear by Beno Feimu. Second chance. Jay loses it out for a goal kick.
That's a good start for Philly in terms of defending from corners, as we showed in the pre-match. Conceded 2 from corners against Pittsburgh, and they would have been working at that and saying, come on, let's give nothing away.
Here's a turnover, brought back to the middle. New York opting to press high and winning the ball back again. Lema looks to get his cross in and does. Dealt with confidently.
I guess if you're a neutral, this is the best possible start because Red Bulls have been in good form. They come in as favorites. They beat Philly 5-1 only 2 matches ago. So from a neutral point of view, this makes it a really exciting game and a tough one for Red Bulls. Puts them under pressure, and we get to see how good they are coming back from 1-0 down, which is what they did against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh are a good side, we know that. So if they can do it against Pittsburgh, they can do it against Union too.
Cleared away by Anthony Sorensen. This is exactly what we talked about in the break, or in the lead up rather. That ball did cross the byline in the sense that Union 2 got out to their great start against Hartford, a 2-0 lead, but they weren't able to finish it. Marlon LeBlanc spoke about, from a study perspective, being able to manage the game with a lead, teaching the kids how to play with a lead, and now, 5 minutes in, they've got an opportunity to do that tonight.
They certainly have, and he used a couple of other little expressions I thought were important. He said, don't concede unnecessary set pieces. He says, it's one thing conceding from a corner. He said, but just don't give the corner away in the first place, because eventually opponents will take advantage of it. And he said there was a lack of tenacity when the players, when they lost 4-0 against Pittsburgh Riverhounds. And I guess that's what he's looking for now, the tenacity to hold on to a lead, to defend it, and to try and get a second goal.
Quick restart from Red Bulls 2. Time to take a look at our Sun East Federal Credit Union keys to the game. Defensive strength is now even greater, rather of greater importance because of that goal that they've scored early. This one will be gotten to on the byline. And we'll have a free kick from just outside of the box. Looked like Rito got to it just before he was able to get into the penalty area, which will allow a pseudo quarter kick from Lema.
Well, we were just saying, don't give away unnecessary set pieces. That was a quote from the coach. And what happens? A sliding tackle on the edge of the box. Just stand up. There's no need to lunge in there. And you got to be careful not to give away a yellow card.
This will be Lema's in-swinger. Kilwine got his head to it, but it was cleared. And away comes Patrick Bowie.
Yeah, we're just talking about those keys to the game and defensive strength from Union 2. And important because they've conceded 18 goals in the last 4 matches. And giving away unnecessary set pieces is part of it. The coach also said they were way too deep in their own half, and I think you can see the dark blue shirts have pushed forward a lot more. They seem to be more positive in their approach to the game. So a lot for them to work on if they're going to keep a clean sheet here today.
Paxton Aronson pokes it through, picked up by Steve Kingay. By the way, I said Red Bulls 2 were in the light blue, but upon further review, those are gray jerseys. It's just a little deceptive with the shade and the sun. Kingay, Picasso. This is just the second game on the road for Red Bulls 2 this season. Their other game was the one that they played here just a couple of weeks ago, their 5-1 win at Subaru Park.
Good stretching play there from Union 2. Look at the high press from Red Bulls 2, making it very difficult and very risky as well.
See how high Red Bulls 2 are playing, and it's allowed them to win the ball back fairly easily. John Token, 13 appearances for Red Bulls 2 last year, making his first appearance of the season in 2020.
I think Lapsley just kicking that down the pitch this time and thinking, I'm not going to mess about at the back. And just going back to that goal from the goalkeeper, the risks that goalkeepers take today at times are absolutely nuts from my perspective. It's only my personal one. I think other coaches say keepers have to play out the back. I believe you play out when there's an opportunity to, but not when it means taking a risk. And Lapsley there got punished after 19 seconds, and now his team have got to fight their way back into this match.
Aronson able to find Picasso, needs help. He's got Flores in the middle, and he wins a corner kick.
Good start from Union 2. Really is so much better than what we have seen from them. They've struggled in games and they look much more positive. So the change in coach so far, and we are only 9 minutes into the game, but so far looks like it's having a very good effect on the team.
Taken short, Axel Picasso. Nemo was fouled. Yeah, that was a conversation I wanted to wait a little bit to get into, but because of the situation that we've seen so far, Gary, I'll ask you, when a new coach comes in, what is it exactly that typically tends to elicit fire from the players and for them to come out much stronger than in games past?
I guess it's fighting for your place. A new coach comes with an open mind and says, right, impress me. If you haven't been in the team, you can impress the coach and try and get in the team, as he looks on there, Marlon LeBlanc. For those in the team, you've got to fight to keep your place. So it does invigorate everyone, and that's exactly what Marlon LeBlanc said. He said, you will see a reinvigorated group today. And so far, he's been absolutely spot on.
Caden Clark just had the ball stitched into his stomach, and Josh Encarnacion will talk things through just to make sure everybody's on the same page.
He's having a word with Brandon Craig there, who hit the ball into Lima when he was on the ground, and Craig's probably saying, look, I didn't mean to do it. I was just trying to knock the ball away. Let's have a look. They go for the ball here, and down he goes, and then have a look. He comes in and hits that ball. Brandon Craig, did he have to? Probably not, and that's why there's a little bit of upset from the New York Red Bulls players.
Chris Lima wears the captain's armband on his 24th birthday. Goal line forced back. Red Bulls have had more success off of turnovers. Like that one, able to get through the midfield, win it back, and then send bodies forward. Rito pops it ahead. The cross comes in. It's cut out by Kinge.
That was nearly a wonderful cross. The idea was great. The execution was really good. It was just literally inches away from being a brilliant cross. And this is what Red Bulls 2 bring to the party. This is a very good group of young players. And to beat Pittsburgh Riverhound with their experienced players is a fantastic result. So again, for Union 2, this is going to be a tough game. This game has got a long way to go for them to walk away with the 3 points against this talented Red Bulls 2 team.
You see Red Bulls 2 trying to go over the top time and time again beyond that back line. It's something that clearly they've been working on as a squad, but against Union 2, strangely enough, over the last 3 meetings between these two teams coming into today, New York has been called offside only 2 times, and it's been now 214 minutes since the last time they were called offside. Is Bowie in here? It looks like he is. The flag did not go up, although he couldn't get his first shot away, and a big-time save from Lapsley before the clearance on the redirect.
That's a fantastic save from Lapsley. That was going in. Bowie gets it across. I didn't quite see who had the shot, but the keeper had to make a fantastic save.
Another opportunity in the box. It almost fell for Paxton Aronson. One back again, Aronson. On the ball, Paxton Aronson. Lapsley makes the save and collects his own rebound.
Good play from Union 2, from a team that's been smashed the last 4 games. They look a whole different outfit. Here's that opportunity here, knocked across. Good save that is, absolutely brilliant. Axel Picasso there. Must have thought he had scored.
Picasso wears the captain's armband for Union 2 tonight. He's done that on a couple of occasions. Did score the second goal that you saw in the pregame against Hartford. Tolkien. Lema. Now Edgardo Rito. Giving away one right back. Caden Clark into the box, trips over the ball, and Sorensen wins it for a goal kick.
This man had a role in both the goals in the match against Pittsburgh when they won 2-1. A lovely pass through for Omar Sow for the first, and then a little 1-2 to create the penalty from which they won in the 90th minute. And he put Jake LaCava through. So he really is a good talent, Caden Clark, and has the ability to open up defenses.
That rolls out for a corner, and so far for Union 2, Gary, Paxton Aronson has been the brightest spot.
He's been one of them. So too is Bowie. I mean, he got the opening goal, and he nearly set up Picasso with the second. So yeah, there's been a few players who've impressed, and I didn't expect this because they have struggled so much. Union 2. I thought they were going to really get off to a tough start against a fantastic New York side, but it's been the other way around. Huge credit to the home side, and perhaps credit to the new coach.
Danny Flores with an in-swinging ball, headed clear. Only as far as Sorensen, but Flores was in an offside position. Well, it's one of the things that John Wolniak for Red Bulls 2 explained, but it does also apply to Philadelphia in this instance, especially with a new coach, saying that when it comes to this league, you're developing players, you want players to win, but for these teams and players, you need to earn your playing time. You don't just get it handed to you just because you should be playing at the reserve level or with the #1 squad.
Absolutely, and we saw John Wolniak there for a brief moment, and he's got to produce players for the first team. He's got to produce winners. He's got to produce players who earn the right to play, as you quite rightly say, and players who can come back from 1-0 down like this. But I guess the same is true of Union 2. They're also producing players for their first team, and it's this delicate balance of, are they too young? Are you pushing them too hard? Are they playing too many minutes? And to have an average age of 17 and a half at this level of USL football, that's an incredibly young side for Union 2, and I'm curious to see how they perform over 90 minutes, whether they run out of steam or not. Just looking at Red Bulls 2, they've got about 4 or 5 players around the 23, 24 mark. That's 6 years older on average.
Picasso tries to take it on himself. He goes down in the box, and it's nothing more than a goal kick.
Picasso, a real threat, isn't he? Scored in that match against Hartford. Let's have a look again at this. Was there a pull back? No, it wasn't enough, was there? But he scored the second goal against Hartford, and really well taken goal. Looks like a fantastic talent, and just 19 years of age. I believe he can play for either the US or Mexico, and he has played USA Youth. So just a thought that he needs to be tempted to stay for the USA and not get drawn across the border.
Picasso made 19 apps for last year's Bethlehem team. Scored a goal. Spent his youth career with Club America in Mexico City, and then Lone Star SC in Austin. Here's Tolkien looking for help. One back. It falls, and it's saved by Budler. Mitch Budler sees his first action of the night in the form of a low skimming shot.
Decent save, and I'm pleased to see him make that save. He's had a couple of rough moments where he's given away silly goals. One against Pittsburgh, he kicked the ball out and it came straight back in.
This falls for Jay. It bounces off of Budler's back, and Sharif Jay can't get to it.
Another save. So I was just talking him up there, saying how he needed to have a good game, and he's just made two saves back to back. Sharif Jay gets there, doesn't quite commit to winning the ball. Mitch Butler does, but just going back to the previous match against Pittsburgh, he miskicked the ball out and Dos Santos kicked it straight back into the empty net. It was a bit of a howler for the keeper, so pleased to see him off to a good start in this game.
Picasso, beautiful 1-2, trying to find Mcglynn. Just a little too far. Positive football from Union 2. New York has had their best success working up this left side when trying to play out of the back. Tolkien for Sharif J. J, so now Clark.
Important for Union 2 here not to get bogged down in their own half. You know, you look at Red Bulls 2 and they're such a good footballing side. They can box you in, and Union 2 have got to take the ball out of their half and try and play in New York's half as Coach John Wolniak looks on. And it's not going to be easy for this young side.
Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the elite leagues throughout Europe. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com. Lima, Clark, J. With bodies in the middle. Sharif J. Can't cut it back again. Well defended by Union 2.
This is a nice little timeout for Union 2 just to get their breath back. They are getting pressed more and more by what looks like a physically stronger. Have a look how big Red Bulls 2 players are. They're physically stronger. Their average age possibly around about 6 years older. And they really are putting these youngsters under pressure. It's going to be a fantastic test for them and for new coach Marlon Blanc to have a look at his youngsters and see just how mentally tough they are, how physically tough they are, and how much they want to win games.
One back again. Clark finding Sebastian Elney. Or no, rather, not Elney, I beg your pardon, but that did get deflected wide. That was so. Elney was to his left, and it's a Red Bull corner kick.
They're threatening, aren't they? Red Bulls 2. They're getting close. They're putting pressure on. A little bit too much ball that they're getting around the edge of the Union 2 box, and if they're not careful, the home side, they are going to concede. They need to defend better and get that ball up the other half.
Third corner for Red Bulls 2. It's met on the other end and then bobbled by Butler. Kilwine, one of the many bodies that have gotten into the box so far as Union look to run. Sorensen shoved off by Rito. Bowie was in an offside position.
Good pressure from Union 2. Nice to see. It's making it difficult for Red Bulls to play out from the back. I think that's a more positive approach that Marlon Blanc was talking about, pressing higher up in the pitch, not inviting teams to come and camp on the edge of your box.
Clark has Token to his left. Token has to hurry back to get into position. It's Kingay up the right side. And he lost control. Philly did get a win, or rather a goal in the first matchup between these two teams 2 weeks ago, it ended up being a 5-1 Red Bull win. But the 3 goals that made the difference in the game came in quick succession for Red Bull 2. They scored 3 goals between the 53rd and 59th minute. Joe Falla in the 53rd, Daniel Edelman in the 56th, and then Elney 3 minutes later. And it was that bang, bang, 1, 2, 3 that did Union 2 in. They were in the game to that point.
Yep, it's true, and that's why the coach talks about a lack of tenacity. Once you concede one, you can't really afford to concede a second and a third. You've got to tighten things up, fight for everything, and slowly get yourself back in the match. But they capitulated too easy, I think, is the best way to sum it up. But they're not doing that now. Fairness to them, they're fighting hard so far. Union 2 defending that lead.
Kilwine gets his service into the box, comfortably dealt with by Ofeimu. Now Elney, who is in an offside position. And that is exactly what we were looking for. We can finish the number. 229 minutes ago. That was the last time Red Bulls 2 was called offside in this particular tie. How about that? And it wasn't even a true offside, really. He was just caught barely out of position.
That's impressive, because it does annoy a lot of coaches when their strikers just stray into offside positions and get blown up. So much hard work goes into creating the opportunity, into flighting the right ball in or passing the right ball in, only for a sometimes lazy striker to have not got himself back or herself back on side. So I think coaches will be impressed by that number, that they haven't been offside that much. That's amazing.
I asked John Wolniak about that earlier today, and he said, you know, both teams really like to press high, but he was surprised that that was the case. He obviously doesn't keep track of those sort of statistics. He said, I guess I'm really good at teaching my guys how to run in behind.
He's taking a little bit of credit there, the coach. Why not?
In jest, of course.
But he has a good team. They won their last 2 matches. They win this, they go joint second alongside Pittsburgh Riverhounds, who are a very, very good team. Once again, Red Bulls produce a development team that actually competes at the top level in USL, and that is impressive, and they do it year after year.
It's kept along the sideline by Bowie, who's shaken up. And this Group F is a very competitive group at the top, which will ultimately lead to one of Hartford, Pittsburgh, New York being left out of the playoff picture, and Loudoun and Philly are both in there, and there's still plenty of time to go, so they have a chance to get back into it. But 5 teams in this group compared to most of the groups that have 4 makes it that much harder to get into the playoffs. So is in an onside position this time. Hounding defense from Sorensen. So able to wiggle around a couple of defenders. Lema directing traffic. Rito. Well worked by Union 2 to get out of trouble. Now they look to run. Nobody there. It'll be Lapsley. Somewhat loose from the keeper so far today.
It's risky, isn't it? Coming that way, that far out and playing one-time balls. You miss-hit it, you're in trouble. But look how tenacious Union 2 are. Again, just to make the point that Red Bulls 2 players are much physically bigger and stronger and able to knock the youngsters around, but they've been getting stuck in and taking a few hits like we're looking at right now. But the coach has really got them determined to make this a real battle. Let's have a look at these 4 players around him there. Gets knocked all over the place.
Well, that's Kinge who's still down, and that's the least of New York's problems. It's the last thing that Union 2 can really afford at this point. You know, they have already a number of players who aren't available because of injury tonight, although They like to get as many players involved as possible. Union 2 have used 27 players through the team's first 5 games. And they've made those 5 substitutions in every game. Yeah, that says minute 1. Let's try second 19. In fact, we can go straight from the kickoff and show you how we got to this point.
It's just Red Bulls coming back here. Simple ball back to the keeper. He's wondering what to do. He's got Kilwine there, and you can see him. But when he eventually plays it, it's not a good ball. And let's give young Patrick Bowie credit. He puts the pressure on, and then he just turns, and it's not. I mean, it's a tough angle. He should score, but nonetheless, it's a tightish angle. But it's just an unnecessary risk from goalkeepers that you see day in and day out. And I still can't get my head around why you want to take that sort of risk. And as I say, Lapsey's had 1 or 2 moments. The other one that I mentioned was against Hartford, and the kick from goalkeeper Mandanda went the entire length of the pitch over his head, and Guzman popped up to score. So, you know, goalkeepers have to limit their mistakes, and I know Lapsey will not be happy with that one. And as we watch the new coach, Marlon LeBlanc, keeping his team tenacious, which he promised they would be.
Well, we talked to Sven Gartung from a couple of weeks ago when talking about these water breaks, and he said, you know, we have a game plan going in, and we're not going to change everything in those 90 seconds, just make minor changes. You can see Marlon LeBlanc, I don't think these are major changes, but he's certainly coaching his team up during this hydration break.
Yeah, so we should. I mean, they're 1-0 up, a third of the way through the match against this excellent Red Bulls 2 team that, as we've said a few times, much older and more experienced. So, yeah, he needs to keep them on their toes. He needs to keep motivating them and keep them believing that they actually can get a result here today.
And you saw the graphic on your screen not too long ago. Officially 18 seconds to the back of the net, the 8th fastest in USL Championship history, which to me seems pretty impressive that there were 8 other goals that were scored in the last, 8 years in this time within the first 18 seconds.
I'm not quite sure how you do it. I mean, unless you're on the attack and from the kickoff you go right down the pitch and score. Can't get much quicker than what has happened in this match.
So playing along the left side, Clark had a chance to make a run. Wasn't found though. And Butler able to knock that Elney effort away.
Good save from the keeper, tips it over the bar. He really has had a good start. You know, he's got come in for some criticism, as young goalkeepers generally do. But as a coach, you're waiting to see them step up a level, and so far in this game, he certainly has. I think that's his 3rd good save, decent save. The only concern is that he's having to make a lot of saves, and Union 2 are certainly beginning to feel the heat from New York.
Off the corner. Bowie gets to it. He's got Green in front of him, all by himself. A triangle of defenders around him, still going Bowie. And he's brought down right at the edge of the box, but Josh Encarnacion says nothing doing.
I think it was just such a long run. He ran out of legs at the end of it, but he did so well, Bowie, once again. He just had no one around him, and maybe a lack of experience in just how to hold the ball up and wait for reinforcements. But again, he looks a good talent.
Flores shifts to the right side. Again, Red Bull looking to run over the back. Omar Sow playing on the edge. Tolkien not being pressured. Does find the deep run of Jay, who can't catch up to it. It took a deflection off of Sorensen's head.
They're very deep again. Remember the coach said you've got to push up. They're very, very deep. Have a look here. Is this a foul? Well, he does flick a little foot out, Tolkien, but probably not enough to warrant a free kick. But again, they're deep. Look at the pressure. Look at the number of Red Bull's light grayish, bluish shirts, whatever you want to call it. Look at the pressure, and they're trying to overturn the ball, and they do.
Lema brought down. That is a foul in a territory that perhaps Red Bulls 2 can consider pushing this one into the box.
They're getting boxed in, aren't they, Union 2? They can't play out their own half at the moment. And they can't keep defending against this sort of pressure. This is where they give away the free kick, just lunging in instead of just standing up and trying to win the ball back fairly.
Rito to the byline, slips it through for Jay. And Jay was about to go forward, but instead it'll be another pseudo corner kick from a dangerous position.
Another set piece. Coach said, don't give away the set pieces because eventually people will score, teams will score against you. Let's have a look. He's a big unit, isn't he, Rito, on that right-hand side, and there's a bit of a hand on him. Down he goes. Referee sees the hand, gives the free kick.
It'll allow Lema with that left foot to deliver an in-swinging ball. A lot of gray jerseys standing near the far post. Nearly found So's head. Cleared away. Lapsley is there, and he'll play it forward. Elney has to get to it. He does. Butler came in. That's a penalty.
It's frustrating for the keeper. He's done so well, and yet there's an error there. He's annoyed with himself. Doesn't even argue the case. And that just comes from a long kick from Lapsley. Sort of in fair dues to the keeper who gave away the first goal. He's almost got an assist here. Long ball through, some poor defending there, to be fair. Famu's got to head that and deal with it. He puts his goalkeeper in a difficult position, and then the keeper's got to be careful that if he comes for it and he can't get there, he mustn't dive in. Commits himself. It's good forward play, isn't it, though?
What could Butler have done differently?
Stood up. If you can't get to the ball, you can't commit and bring someone down. Stand up, stop them from shooting and push them wide.
Sebastian Elney is the one standing over the ball. He'll put the ball down on the spot. Elney with a goal already to his name this year. Right or left? Sebastian Elney, right down the middle, and we're back level, 1-1.
Yeah, such a pity for Union 2 in terms of keeping a clean sheet. If New York score against you, you've got to make them work for it. You can't give them penalties when you're already, you know, that much younger and that much smaller in size, because now it's going to be a battle for Philly. Good finish down the middle, lots of power behind it. Sebastian Elney, but you get the sense now that New York can see themselves pushing further ahead. They won 5-1 only, what, a week and a half or two ago. I think they're going to start feeling that they can now start to really put the screws on this Philly side.
Does Philly have a response? Cut out at the last second, and it needed to be dealt with that time by Kilwine. Ofemu, Sorensen.
Just thinking back at that goal, it's a long ball down the middle. Ofemu is the big centre half. He's got to win the ball. You can't let it bounce, because the moment it bounced, then his keeper's got to make a decision. Does he come or does he stay? And that puts the keeper in a, you know, it's a very difficult decision to make. You're not going to get that right every time. If the centre half deals with it, no problem after that.
How about that flick by So? He can't get to the secondary effort, but he does win the throw for his side. Red Bull looking to come quickly. And Elney says, let's pump the brakes.
Are you sure that's a grey strip? It's looking a little bit light blue to me.
You got a point there. They're gray on the game notes. That's all I know. Jay had Clark to his left, finds him. Caden Clark. Not this time.
And he's got such wonderful feet, this Caden Clark. Like I was mentioning, he had an assist on both the goals in the last match against Pittsburgh. And even there, the way he shifts the weight of the ball from one foot to the other. Have a look as it comes. It's very tight. Touch there, move, and shoot all in one go. Yep, the shot wasn't the best, but the idea was good. And I think this guy is A real good prospect for the future, Caden Clark, age 17.
One of the 2 youngest players on the pitch for Red Bulls 2 today. Lapsley again has to come off of his line. Approaching 5 minutes until halftime. Room for Elney. 2 defenders bearing down on him.
All this action taking place in this final third of the pitch. They're all bunched in. Virtually every player is bunched in the final third here.
Token. Just a bit too much on it.
Yeah, the idea was good. Wanted to whip it in the box. There was enough grey, light blue shirted players in that box, but the end product wasn't a good cross. Again, look at the high press from Red Bulls 2, trying to get turnover ball, and they do. Again, it's pressure building and building.
And that looks like a dangerous injury.
Looks like he's really hurt. He went down with a big shout. He's holding his knee, which is not the sort of thing you want to see. Referee's just taking his time to make sure the players are all good.
Well, don't miss a minute of action in 2020. Sign up today and get alerts all year long by following your club on ESPN.com. Search Union 2 or Red Bulls 2 and then click the follow button to keep up with the latest news and scores. Plus get reminders on your team's next match. Go to ESPN.com now and click follow for your club. And it looks like Patrick Bowie is all right, which is a good sign. Picasso has been quiet the last 15 minutes. Here comes Axel Picasso.
He's got quick feet as well, hasn't he? Axel Picasso did so well there to burst through the center of that defense, and in the end couldn't quite thread the ball through that he wanted. But he certainly looked very, very quick and well balanced, and going to cause this Red Bulls defense a few more problems before this game is out.
Our third Talon Energy corner kick. Flores waves both arms in the air. Overshot everybody, and so we'll let it trickle out.
Feimu trying to get in on the end of that cross. It was a little bit too long for him. Probably trying to make up for allowing that ball to bounce for the penalty.
Jay wanted to keep running. Clark does get to it, and he's got room to run. He finds Jay to his left. Jay cuts it back on his left foot, and it's 2-1.
Good finish from Sharif Jay, absolutely brilliant. I thought he had lost the opportunity by coming back on his right foot, but he turned it around, got himself an angle and knocked it past the keeper. I'm assuming his coach, John Wolniak, is happy with that. I'm not quite sure by all the hand waving what he was wanting.
He's shaking his head in displeasure right now, but his team did just score. Now is Jay onside? That was very close.
Comes in on his right. You see that comes in on his right, and I thought he had lost it and comes back on the left. Maybe he doesn't quite have the speed. So he comes back again, loses his mark, and just gets it under Mitch Butler's body. But the assist is Caden Clark. Once again, he had 2 assists against Pittsburgh, and once again, Caden Clark is such a clever player, so aware of players around him and so able to thread in a good pass.
First goal of the season for Sharif Jay. Look at that, he's not smiling, he looks upset. He slams the ball down in disgust. I'm not sure what he could be upset about. I'm sure he has his reasons. Red Bulls, too, have turned this game on its head just prior to the halftime whistle.
Yeah, it just began to look more and more like it. They were just boxing Philly in. They weren't allowing them to play out. They were high pressing. You just expected problems to build for this much younger side. And I think the problems will continue because Red Bulls won't let them off the hook. I think they feel now that they're physically stronger and they've got this game by the throat, Red Bulls, and it's going to be hard for this young Union side to get themselves back into this match. But their manager asked for tenacity, and that's what they have to show.
Token sees the surging run of Sharif J, gets around Butler, who did get a fingertip to it. And then Jay loses possession. High press proving difficult. One back again by Red Bulls, too. Slipped forward. Looks like Hott was crunched. That's Keenan Hott. We haven't called his name much tonight, but he does win the corner kick. 4 minutes of stoppage time here in the first half. This is the 4th Red Bulls corner of the night. And it's Lema. In it goes. Out by Flores for a throw. Well, the message certainly changes for New York at halftime compared to 1-0. What is the message that John Wolniak wants to deliver to his team now?
Just to keep building, to go on and get a similar result to the last match against Union 2, which was 5-1.
More numbers in the box. Clark had it for a moment.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they look so much stronger and better now, and you know, the coach is saying, you've got so much space, you've got to take the opportunity. You'd think they were losing 2-1, but I mean, what he wants from his players is he wants them to be more, to take the opportunities more often and put teams away when you get the chance, because that's what you have to do when you step up to the first team, because they are now really dominant and they're camped in that Union 2 half.
Mcglynn cleared only as far as Hott. Picasso, a little 1-2. Boateng uses his strength. Now Clark forces Elney wide. Sebastian Elney out for another corner kick. Well, nobody knows what it's like to build yourself up, to build this Red Bulls 2 team up like John Wolniak, because he's the only coach they've ever had. 78 wins, 48 losses, 36 draws in his career and the franchise of Red Bulls 2.
That's a good return, bearing in mind he's also producing players for the first team, so he's got a dual objective: win games and produce players.
That time Boateng got ahead to it, just wasn't in the right direction. Wolniak, who knows a thing or two about scoring, he led the nation in scoring when he played at Fordham in the late 90s. Said that the storm passed through earlier this week. The hurricane came and knocked down one of his neighbor's trees, and that was a big deal on the block earlier this week, although we didn't see anything here in Florida. An option with Bowie. Flicks it on. Picasso's all in. He finds Mcglynn's foot. Everyone on side, and we're going to go into the half 2-2.
Good finish, well done. No wonder the coach is pumped up. They've really been taking massive strain, Union 2, and he asked for tenacity, and that's what these kids have shown. They've fought back against this much older, stronger Red Bulls 2 team, and they've got themselves back on level terms. Picasso showing great desire to get on the end of that. Good little flick, by the way. Picasso gets there, but unselfishly just passes there to Jack Mcglynn to finish off. Picasso awareness, decent ball. Jack Mcglynn in the right place. Yeah, well done. Fantastic. Had a little in their heads drop at 2-1. These youngsters have fought back, got themselves back on level time just before halftime, and that is massive credit to this young side and their new coach, Marlon LeBlanc.
And LeBlanc's look is about as muted as Wolniak's was after Red Bulls 2 scored their second goal. Is there time for one more in this first half? That may do it. That's the halftime whistle. What a first half we've had. We've got 45 minutes left of what has already been an exciting matchup. The only one going on in the USL at this particular moment. And it's 2-2. Red Bulls 2, Union 2. Can expect anything less, Gary.
A fantastic effort from the youngsters. They really look so much better than I've seen them in the last few weeks. They would have given up a few weeks ago, so it would seem, judging by some of the score lines, but they've fought back. They're determined to make New York Red Bulls work for everything they get, and that's great credit. And now let's see if the Red Bulls too can bounce back in the second half or not.
Plenty more to come on the Doubletree Wilmington halftime report. Highlights from around the league over the weekend, plus a lot more.
The summer of 2020 will be unusual and historic. Let us write the story together, enjoying the weather while staying safe. Wear a mask when you're outside. Keep up social distancing as we keep up our spirits. The usual destinations may not be open or may have restrictions. Conditions may change, so check websites as the summer goes on. Let us make history by enjoying the sunshine and together beating COVID-19.
Acme is bringing the fresh every day. Crispy, juicy, delicious. We're cutting fresh, so you don't have to. Slicing fresh in store. Icing, baking, and flower bouquet making. This is how we do fresh. Come and get it. Acme, the official supermarket of the Philadelphia Union.
For everyone who has ever brought home Entenmann's Little Bites muffins, you're probably quite familiar with the Happy Dance. Maybe it's because they're made with real ingredients like blueberries, bananas, strawberries, and no high fructose corn syrup. Or is it because they're always baked moist and delicious? The answer is all of the above. Entenmann's Little Bites muffins, the perfect portion of happiness. And be sure to try new Entenmann's Little Bites soft-baked chocolate chip cookies.
Halftime here at Subaru Park. Union 2, Red Bulls 2. Gives us an opportunity here at the half to take a look at the action from around the rest of the USL over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. And let's start in Indianapolis, where SKC 2 continued their outstanding week. A win over Lou City on Wednesday, 70th minute. Daniel Barbier gets the 1-0 winner. Indy's first loss at Lucas Oil Stadium since July 4th, 2018. SKC get their first 6 points of the year, and tonight they're at St. Louis at 8 p.m. And now Philly fans, look away. This is Pittsburgh's main assist man, Kenardo Forbes, puts this one on a platter for Steven Dos Santos. That ties the USL all-time assist record. He would break the record 14 minutes later with an assist to Thomas Van Keeziel. 38 now all-time for Forbes. Riverhounds win 4-0. We move on to OKC, where New Mexico's fan base, who have no home games to watch, made the 8-hour trip to Taft Stadium, and they were able to see their man Chris Weehan do this just before the half to make it 2-0. Weehan on the far side here gets the goal. New Mexico rolling in this one just before the final whistle. Joris Alinvi on the rebound with his first professional goal. United are 5 points clear at the top of Group C. as we head over to Phoenix. El Paso did score first, but then a penalty equalizing for Phoenix, and that's Solomon Asante putting Phoenix ahead for good, his 4th goal. And watch the moves here by Junior Flemings to net his 4th goal of the season. Phoenix rolls 3-1. Well, they didn't start playing soccer at HEB Park in Rio Grande Valley until 11:25 p.m. local time. That's Marlin from a corner kick to put FC Tulsa up a goal. They were delayed another hour before they had a 3-minute halftime break. And then getting ready to play the second half, Ariel Martinez put it away for Tulsa with this PK, Tulsa's first win since October 12th of last year. Finally, in Hartford on Sunday, Ever Guzman kept Hartford Athletic rolling. Guzman in the 7th minute, and then 11 minutes later, it's Guzman again in the 18th. Just slips with a beautiful chip. Loudon really looked lost in this one. 98th minute, sealing up a 4-1 win. Local product, Connecticut's all-time high school leading scorer, Alfonso Vasquez, gets his first pro goal. Hartford get the 4-1 win. They are on top of Group F, this group with Union and Red Bulls. 3 points clear at the top of Pittsburgh entering play today. As you get a look at the scoreboard, what else was going on around the USL? It's starting to shape up. We've got a lot of teams that are looking to get into the top 2 in their respective groups. And with that, as we approach the halfway point of the season, the races begin to get interesting. Now, let's take a look at what else we've got around the rest of the USL.
The USL is proud to bring professional soccer back into our communities and across the ESPN family of networks. Follow your local club and don't miss these exciting matches coming up on ESPN2 or ESPN Deportes.
Dr. George Champus from Northwestern and U.S. Soccer's Chief Medical Officer joins me. Coach, try and describe, as soccer has returned around the country over the past month, the work that you and the doctors at U.S. Soccer and in association with the USL Championship, the work you've put in to make sure everybody remains safe for athletes, staff, referees, and in some cases, fans.
Well, Mike, first, it's great to be with you, and watching the USL getting back on the field is really a special thing. To be perfectly honest with you, it's been a collaboration across, I think, our sport in the United States. I think it's what's been really, while we've seen so many challenges with regards to COVID, one of the really good things is seeing, all of the leagues come together. From USL to CONCACAF to NWSL to MLS to NISA, all of us really banding together as a single sport to find a pathway that is first and foremost healthy, and putting our players and all of the staff, coaches, announcers, referees, a top priority. And then subsequent to that was looking at our youth game, that we as a federation, can we create a very responsible guideline that really resonates across the sport.
Halftime here at Subaru Park. Union 2, Red Bulls 2. Spencer Siegel with you, Gary Bailey alongside. Gives us an opportunity to check out some of the news and notes around the rest of the USL. Lou City starting on their training facility. Gary, how about King Kenny Canardo Forbes?
I love this man. Absolutely brilliant. 32 years of age, the Jamaican still creating magic. 7 assists in the last 5 games. Absolutely brilliant.
Hablas Español, Gary, because we've got some ESPN Deportes action on Saturday with Memphis and North Carolina FC as well, as we take a look at our team of the week for this past week. Who stands out to you?
Well, you mentioned Forbes already. He's in the middle there. Solinik scoring goals. Dadashov at Phoenix, always a difficult man to mark. I mean, everybody there deserves credit because they've all done something extremely good. We in there for New Mexico. They're all excellent in what they've done for their various teams.
Yeah, surprised not to see Junior Flemings with his goal. Now, this is where it gets interesting with the power rankings, because I see about 5 teams that could be number 1.
Yeah, and you'll see a different 5 teams next week, because it can all change so quickly in the sort of current format. Congrats to Orange County. They have been in superb form. Indy 11, yeah, they were number 1. They're dropping a little bit, but again, they can bounce back. Pittsburgh have had a couple of good results, then a couple of average ones. Again, it could all turn around. New Mexico United, well done to them. They're climbing nicely.
Yeah, New Mexico and Reno sneaking into the top 10. This is a look at what's going on later tonight. We are the only game ongoing right now, but we have plenty of action tonight from all around. This is the Eastern Conference. You see here the Miami FC playing their first game ever at Ricardo Silva Stadium in the USL Championship. Should be fun. You'll want to check that out. And then when we go to the group standings here in Group F, you see Hartford on top. This is not a live look with Red Bull and Philly Union both playing right now, but you've got the other 3 teams who have been in action with each other as well, and the top 2 teams from this group will make their way to the playoffs at the end of the season. Well, we'll be back. Halftime highlights and stats around the corner here from Subaru Park in Philadelphia.
Acme is bringing the fresh every day. Crispy, juicy, delicious. We're cutting fresh, so you don't have to. Slicing fresh in store. Icing, baking, and flower bouquet making. This is how we do fresh. Come and get it. Acme, the official supermarket of the Philadelphia Union.
The summer of 2020 will be unusual and historic. Let us write the story together, enjoying the weather while staying safe. Wear a mask when you're outside. Keep up social distancing as we keep up our spirits. The usual destinations may not be open or may have restrictions. Conditions may change, so check websites as the summer goes on. Let us make history by enjoying the sunshine and together beating COVID-19.
It starts with Sara Lee Artisano bread. Thick slices that can hold cheese. All the cheese.
Richly flavored brioche that goes with any meat. A little sweet, a little savory, a lot of
Or soft, flour-dusted buns and rolls. Perfect for all my favorite flavors. And all my favorite people. No matter what you layer on, make it with Sara Lee Artisano, the original artisan-style bread. And make the routine remarkable.
Deuce is wild here with the Union and the Red Bulls. Take a look during our Doubletree Wilmington halftime report at our Bimbo Bakery's first half highlights. And you see the kickoff, and then Gary, 18 seconds later, 8th fastest goal in USL Championship history.
Yeah, one that Wallace Lapsley will not want to see. This ball here, he's going to play it short, but it's a dangerous ball. It doesn't reach Kilwine, and it's jumped on by Patrick Bowie, and from a tightish angle, quick there, and from that tight angle, he gets past the keeper into the back of the net.
18 minutes later, it was the first chance for Red Bulls 2. Elney and Jay were very active. This is Elney's first shot on target.
And a good save from Mitch Butler. Gets down well to his left. Good strong hand, and then jumps up and gets the loose ball.
And then not too long after that, Red Bulls 2 just kept coming. This time down the right flank, it was Jay's first attempt.
And again, a good save from the keeper. It might have even taken a little deflection off of Femu, and the keeper's great reflexes.
This was nearly an assist, as you put it, in the first half. And Elney got around Butler this time. Butler took him down, penalty.
Yeah, the keeper had to come. I think it was poor defending by Femu and not dealing with the long ball. Forces the keeper to have to make a decision. And Elney steps up and thumps it down the middle.
Yeah, thumps is absolutely how I would put it. That's well said, my friend. You got another opportunity here to make it 2-1. This time it's Sharif J. Look at this little shimmy move to get back onto his left foot.
Yeah, he comes one way, goes back the other. Caden Clark with a lovely assist ball. Just goes under the body of Butler. And New York looking so strong, but credit to the youngsters.
Yeah, you thought, hey, we're going into the half 2-1. No, 2-2.
Got this little flick here from that man who's done so well, Patrick Bowie, and he gets it to Picasso, who gets it to Mcglynn. Look at the flick on. Picasso, absolutely selfless, gives it to Mcglynn, back of the neck, and they're on level terms.
Sun East Federal Credit Union stats. Possession looks about right. The shots kept coming from Red Bulls too, but Union hanging on. No cautions yet in this one. And look at that. One offside call for Red Bulls 2. First time that that's happened in over 3 games.
Yeah, and you just sense that there was more, as you say, more shots from Red Bulls, more possession. They just looked like they were getting on top, and that was why it was amazing that Union 2 got the goal just before halftime. But it's going to be a tough next 45 minutes for these youngsters. So far, so good, but only halfway there.
Looks like we do have a change for Red Bulls 2 as well. Samad Buntong comes in. John Tolkien played his first half in a Red Bulls uniform this year. Buntong comes in. So Buntong in for defensive purposes, and we do have a second change that we'll get to you momentarily. It will be Union 2 to start the second half in their dark blues. Red Bulls 2 in the grays, alongside a man who boasts 9 more career appearances in a United uniform than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. It's Gary Bailey. Spencer Siegel here with you.
I didn't know that stat.
I'm here. I'm only here for your ego.
You've been doing some reading up, have you?
Our Sun East Federal Credit Union subs, you see Buntong in, Token out. Chris Lema will come out of the game as well. Lema will check out in the midfield. And Barry Sharifi will be the man to replace Lema. We expect to see Union 2 substitutions as well, Gary. They are not shy about utilizing the 5 subs rule.
I think you have to, especially when you've got a much, much younger team. They're going to take greater strain, more tired legs, more tired brains. You're going to have to sub them out. So yeah, I do expect to see Marlon LeBlanc to use probably all 5, but certainly 4 of his subs to try and help out with the stresses and strains these young players are under. And he actually said in conversation that he doesn't know whether it's a good thing or not that these young kids play that many minutes. You know, they have to play almost 2 games a week, and they've had a lot of injuries, and they're not getting much help from the senior team, who are obviously busy, very successfully busy in the MLS's back competition. So these young kids are having to play a lot of games.
Yeah, and the reason, by the way, that this game was moved from a 7:30 start time to 5 o'clock is because the Union down in Orlando are playing in the semifinal of the MLS's back tournament. They take on Portland Timbers. That game starts at 8 o'clock. And so they're actually going to have a socially distant watch party for season ticket holders here at Subaru Park, which is why they needed to play this game without fans, of course, prior to the MLS game starting. Great day for Union soccer fans to watch their teams play. Anthony Sorensen cuts it inside. Axel Picasso. Craig. Flores back to Craig. Still with Union 2. Not cleared yet. Flores at Bowie in the middle, and it's out for a corner kick.
Good little spell there for Union 2. Nice ball playing, nice ball retention. They were trying to open up little gaps. They were neat around the edge of the box and looked very, very impressive. And I guess this is turning out as a bit of a surprise for Red Bulls 2. Having won the last match 5-1, they probably came here, thought this was going to be a nice, easy game, and it's been anything but.
Well, keep in mind, it was the second half as Ofemu gets his head to it, but that's all. The second half of that game where Red Bulls 2 went on their onslaught, 3 goals in 6 minutes.
Well, maybe this is a new Union 2 with that resilience that Marlon LeBlanc was talking about, and if so, then Red Bulls are going to have to work very hard to get their breakthrough.
Rito couldn't zig around Flores, but he was fouled in the process.
I guess the problem for Red Bulls too is that Hartford have been such a surprise team this season. I mean, they've had a fantastic start. They're top of that group. Pittsburgh Riverhounds are an excellent team with Bob Lilly, as always. So if only 2 from 3 go through, Red Bulls can't afford to not win this sort of game. And that puts a bit of pressure on John Wolniak, and maybe why we did see him bouncing around there and not happy with some of his players.
Huckabee gets it clear. Hot. Out wide. Rito to the middle. Clark leaves it. It's Hot. Keenan Hot.
Nice idea. And he wasn't too far off, but just a little bit too high, not quite the sort of strength that he wants. And maybe saying to the others, look, I didn't pass it to you because I thought I could maybe have a shot on target. It's worth a try. Look at that again, that high press. Red Bulls making it almost impossible for Union 2 to play out. They're getting turnover ball most of the time. Look at those number of grey-blue shirts that are in that half there.
Keenan Hot, a Lincroft, New Jersey native, just 16 years old. Joined the Red Bull Academy last year. Does have experience with the U.S. Youth Internationals. Thrown into the fire tonight.
It's a little bit easier when you're a youngster surrounded by 22, 23-year-olds. So for Keenan Hot, who's 16, Caden Clark 17, everyone around them is 22, 23. On the other side, they're all 17, 18, 16. So they've got no one to turn to for guidance. They've got to find leadership amongst themselves, and that makes it a little bit more difficult for Union 2.
Were you just ignoring my fire hot joke, or did you not think it was? Did you just...
I didn't even get it.
Oh,
I didn't even hear it. Sorry, it just went right over my head.
Because if you ignored it, that would have been fine too.
Say it again just now, and I'll have a second chance of a giggle.
Struggling to get out of their own half. Union 2, though, hanging strong. And you talked about Red Bulls, by the way, and their playoff implications, their aspirations this year to try and get to that point. This is a franchise, you can use air quotes around franchise, for Red Bulls 2 that has competed in the USL Championship in this now their 6th year, and they've made the playoffs in every one of those seasons. So to not make the playoffs would be an extreme disappointment.
It certainly would, but I think you also have to give credit to them for being able to reach the playoffs and to develop players. Let's have a look at this moment again. This is Bowie. All sorts of skills with 3 players around him and gets shoved off the ball. I tell you, he's impressed, Patrick Bowie, with the goal he scored and the one that he nearly scored and set up. And I mean, he has been probably, for me, the best player from Union 2.
Scored his first career goal 18 seconds into this one tonight. Native of the Ivory Coast, came on in the second half against Pittsburgh on Saturday for his first appearance. This is Sharifi, loses possession. Through ball as Lapsley comes off of his line.
Lapsley doing a good job as a sweeper keeper, as almost like an extra player. Yes, he did mess up for the first goal, but since then he has managed that space behind his back four really well. Hasn't allowed Union 2 to get anything over the top.
Do you think that's preferred for a keeper when a team plays a high back line the way Red Bulls 2 have done?
Yes, absolutely. I think he's done a fantastic job at being that sweeper keeper. He just messed up in the first minute. It was a risk not worth taking, and he knows it. I mean, he'll be the first to tell you that he shouldn't have done it. but since then he's been excellent.
Picazo is fouled, and we'll see our first caution of the night, and it's the newly entered player, Barry Sharifi,
who looks horrified that he's got a yellow card. He's saying, what did I do? Referee eventually, as you say, brandishing the yellow cards. Let's have a look at it again and see.
And it will be Kilwine, it appears. You see Kilwine coming in there and tripping him up, so it's not Sharifi. They've changed that, says Jose Encarnacion. Kilwine, the guilty party.
Well, then Sharifi's look at horror was for real then, because often all players look at horror when they get a yellow card, even if they're guilty. He wasn't.
You're saying so he was justified.
He was genuine.
Mcglynn feeds it through. Picazo. Aronson gets to it and then loses it. With 4 teams separated by 3 points, Group G takes center stage as the USL Championship returns to ESPN Deportes on Saturday. Memphis 901 FC welcomes North Carolina FC, with both sides eyeing the top spot in the group. Memphis 901 FC, North Carolina FC, Saturday, 5 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Deportes. 55 minutes down. Still square at 2.
It's going to be a big test for Red Bulls. John Wolniak, the coach, saying that he was really happy with the attitude of his team when they won against Pittsburgh. They won it in the dying moments. And he's going to expect his team to push all the way to the end and to win this. Certainly, if not in the dying moments, and towards the end of the game. He won't expect anything less from his Red Bulls side. So once again, Philly are going to have to match them right up until the end.
Lapsley gets it off of his foot. It's a nice ball up for Picazo, who beautifully gets it around the defender Boonthong and then strikes the crossbar.
That's a wonderful bit of skill from Picazo. They're absolutely stunning, and how unlucky not to have actually scored. He thunders it against the crossbar, but the skills beforehand. I mean, they really are giving Red Bulls a run for their money here. So unlucky not to be in the lead.
We have a couple of Sun East Federal Credit Union substitutions. That is the last action for Axel Picazo. And boy, what an action it was. When we get a chance to see that again, you'll see just how close he was to pulling off what would have been the goal of the week. Jack Jacinski and Quinn Sullivan come in. You see Picazo out and Patrick Bowie out as well. So 2 new players at the top for Union 2. Jacinski made his debut in the first game against Pittsburgh in the second half. Take another look at Picazo's final action after this quick restart. Clark gets it in. Mcglynn boots it clear. Only as far as Boateng.
Have a look at this. The ball comes across to him. Takes it on his left thigh, flicks it up, and then with a side foot, he volleys it almost perfect. I was going to say perfectly, almost perfectly, because perfect would have been in the back of the net, but catches it brilliantly. And he has, the 2 players who have come off have really impressed, Bowie and Picazo. Both of them have been absolutely top class here today.
Rito with space, and that one came off of the wrong part of his foot.
Wonder how he's feeling now at this particular stage of the match. The new coach, Marlon LeBlanc. Got to be happy at 2-2 that his team have put up a real fight here. And
would you believe it, Gary, that Sebastian Elney's in an offside position? That's 2 in the game.
Let's have a look at John Wozniak and see how he's responding. He's looking down the line, so in fairness, he really shouldn't be caught offside like that, but it's easy to criticize.
Here they come again. Elney flicked towards the keeper by Ofemu and then eventually cleared. That was almost a fierce own goal. I don't know if Butler was ready for it. He ended up having to make a save. Really what looked like a shot on target from one of his own defenders.
It was. There was also a shot of a handball there against Ofemu, because after Elney's shot, it seemed to sort of roll past his arm, and maybe the complaints have come forward, and maybe that's why the referee's taking names. Or was it for a tackle there earlier? Let's have a look. Have a look. There. No, it doesn't touch his hand. It looks like it does for a moment, doesn't it? That's why they were all appealing. But I think there was a kick earlier in this move, and that's what the referees brought them back for.
If you didn't know any better, you'd think Ofemu was trying to kick it into his own net. Here comes Sharifi. Down the right flank, Edgardo Rito. Gets his cross in. Sharif J. Picked up by Butler.
A lot of bodies forward again for Red Bulls. You just sense, look at that, they're pressing them. You just sense that there's a turnover coming soon. Well, there is there, but you know, there's going to result in something. And yet, every time we say that, they somehow spring a counter-attack, Union 2. So as much pressure as Red Bull put on, they do somehow find a way through.
Aronson. Expecting to see Jake LaCava come in. Indeed, he will now. Sharif J, the goal scorer for Red Bulls 2, who scored the second goal, will make way. 19-year-old LaCava signed the day before Independence Day this year. 50 appearances across multiple academies for Jake LaCava, including Barca in Arizona, LA Galaxy, and of course Red Bulls.
And he's an exciting player, LaCava. If you go back to the last match against Pittsburgh, it was his run into the box that actually produced the penalty from which they won the game. So look out for him. He can cause all sorts of problems. Him and Caden Clark linked up for that goal, or to win the penalty anyway.
Sharifi looking for the feet of Elney, who does eventually get to it. LaCava making his run. And it's out for a corner.
Dante Huckabee and Benjamin Ofemu have got to keep it tight in the center of that defense. A lot depends on them being able to deal with these sort of set pieces to try and not concede any further goals.
First corner of the half for Red Bulls 2, 6th of the game. Sharifi puts it towards the back post. Kava can't get to it. Jacinski boots it down the right side. The last win for Union 2 came against Loudoun last September, September 18th.
It's not a good record, obviously, and as much as you're a development team when you're looking to produce young players for the senior side, at the same time, those players don't want to end up conceding too many goals. It's 18 in the last 4 plus 2 now. It's 20 goals in the last 5 matches, and still could be worse in this game. It's not a good feeling for young players. So this man's job here, Marlon LeBlanc, is to try and get them out of this conceding 4 and 5 goals per game that they have been going through recently, and try and get them more competitive, which, to be fair, after 63 minutes, it's job done, but you've got to play the whole 90 minutes, and you don't want kids to take a psychological knock too much. So it's a balancing act, isn't it, as a coach? You know, you want them to learn, and sometimes they've got to make mistakes to learn, but you also don't want them to have the confidence knocked out of them.
Aronson can't shimmy past Boateng. Given away by So. Since that win on September 18th, Union 2 have 10 losses and 2 draws in those 12 games. And there's a man open in the middle here. It's Jacinski, and it's saved by Lapsley. A flailing effort in the end by Jacinski that could have been better.
It could have been, but it was a well-crafted move once again. Brilliant in attack. Union 2, I guess John Walniak will not be happy with his defenders.
LaCava on the other end. This game's starting to open up. Jake LaCava again, just a soft touch in the end. Had it been a little harder, perhaps we're looking at 3-2.
He'll cause problems, Jake LaCava. He's got that ability, and he can spot goal-scoring opportunities. And in the end, you're right, it wasn't a good finish by him. He got himself in a great position, just couldn't quite put the icing on the cake. And in the end, it's a comfortable save for Mitch Butler.
Turned over, hot. Now Clark, Caden Clark! Just wide.
Decent strike, just not on target, but like I say, this player, this young man has got some ability, 3 assists in the last couple of games. He decided to go himself this time. I don't know how far wide it was. Well, hopefully we'll get a chance to see here, but he's being allowed to shoot from 23 yards, if not less. You've got to be careful, Philly. You can't allow players that close.
Here come Red Bull again. So couldn't finish it that time. It was Butler who came off of his line, and So appears to be hurt, and he's cramping up. The ball is still in play, and now finally pulled out of play. That's about as nice of an opponent as you'll see. With the ball still in play, the keeper coming over to help out the cramping Omar So.
And Omar So had a chance there. We were just busy chatting, and suddenly the ball's in the 6-yard box, and Mitch Butler's having to scramble to make the save. Let's have a look at it again. It's a lovely little run here, ball through. His first touch just gets away from him. If he controls that ball better with the first touch, or if the pass is better, not quite sure which it is, he could certainly have scored and got that goal. So Mitch Butler more than happy to jump on that one. And so we still remain locked at 2s. This is a really exciting game and potentially could have a fantastic finish.
Certainly looks like we're heading that way. Red Bulls 2 is already accustomed to a quality finish at the end of a game. They won it to death against Pittsburgh about a week and a half ago. It was 1-1 for quite some time. So scored the equalizer in the 34th minute against Red Bulls 2 with a lovely touch and then thunderous finish. We played 1-1 until the 95th minute when Jake LaCava drew a penalty. Derry Korf rolled it into the back of the net, and Red Bulls 2 defeated Pittsburgh, which was their second loss in the final minute of a game for the Riverhounds in 2 games.
The other one was Indy 11, wasn't it? The dying seconds there. That
Right
was
at
some
the end.
strike, though.
Tyler Pasher with one of the
Whoa.
goals of the season, not just for the tact or the finish itself and the skill level required, but time and score, right? Situational finish.
Brilliant. You can see that cramp. Sometimes cramp can actually be that bad that you can't walk properly. So it looks like Omar So has reached the end of the game there. And this is one of the problems of having all these games coming so quickly, and where coaches are worried that they overplay players, but then they need them to, they need to get results. Otherwise, you're out the tournament before the season's even had a chance to run. Only 2 out of 5. You've got a 40% chance of going through from this group. So you can't afford to take it too slowly. It's a very delicate balancing act for the coaches, and he really is struggling there, Omar, so he can barely walk.
Speaking of Derek Korf, who put the penalty home, he will be coming on shortly, not yet. We've seen New York's ability to put games away, Gary. Long ball over the top, looks pretty good. Jacinski could only get a toe to it. So let's look at this from a Union 2 perspective as you see So out, Korf in. What does Union 2 need to do to get over that hump and get their first win since last September?
Just not drop too deep. They can't sort of back off, and to be fair, they're not. You can see a couple of dark blue shirts there just trying to put some pressure on. It's not a high press, but it's more of a medium press there, but they're still making it difficult for Red Bulls to cross the halfway line. They've got to believe they can win it. They can't just try and hold on to a 2-2. They've got to try and win the game and go at Red Bulls and see what happens. They're a young side. If they're positive but they end up losing 3-2, I think the coach will accept that.
Sharifi takes on Sorensen. Butler claims it.
Nice hands from Butler. He's made a few crucial saves this game. I know he gave away the penalty, but that was him sort of covering for Femu's error. Other than that, the young goalkeeper's made some excellent saves.
Gutsy plays by Kilwine. Now it falls through. Jacinski could be in here. Here's Jack Jacinski! Union 2 are ahead. 20 minutes to go. And the young boys take a 3-2 lead.
Awesome, fantastic. And we're just saying, if you want to win a game, you've got to be positive. You go for it. And that's exactly what they did. Lovely ball through to Jacinski. Good finish. I mean, he had the pace to stay away from the defender. Looked at his angles and almost passed it into the back of the net. But lovely ball here. Lovely ball through. He's got away. He keeps pushing. He keeps that distance from the defender running in and just picks his spot past the goalkeeper there. Maybe a little bit too much of an angle, and Samad Bouton could just not catch Jacinski, and he's delighted. So is Aronson, so all these young men. They know they have a chance of winning this game now. For a change, they're not in the losing. Normally they're used to being a goal or 2 or 3 or 4 behind, but for once, they're in the lead with less than 20 minutes to go.
Third time this season, Jack Jacinski has come on as a substitute. It's his first goal of the season. We are dealing with an injury as well, but that it looks like Anthony Sorensen down, and he too might be cramping up.
I mean, it is the middle of summer and you're playing these games twice a week. It is a huge stress, but these are difficult times for everybody. It's the same for both coaches and both sets of players, and you just got to manage it as best. Look at the smiles there. Femu, and they're all happy. They know they've got a real chance now, and that strength, that inner strength the coach was calling for, they've certainly shown up until this point, and no doubt will show it right to the end. Win or lose, been very impressed with Union 2.
Jack Jacinski from Charlotte, North Carolina, 16 years old. The goal scorers in this game: Patrick Bowie, 16 years old. And the Union, I'm sure several of the senior squad, not just the players, but the coaches and staff who are getting ready for their game against Timbers 2, or I should say Timbers, are thrilled with what their young men are doing today. Jack Mcglynn, the third goal scorer, 17 years old.
Super impressive. Just by the way, we saw a second player leave the pitch with cramp, and I haven't seen that often. I've often seen players get cramp, not often seen a player leave it, but 2 players just shows you how difficult this return to soccer has been for players around the country.
Now the onus is on Red Bulls 2 to try and work themselves back into this game. I still wouldn't confidently say that the 3 points is gone and lost for either side yet, and they haven't been earned yet either. Here's Clark. Jake LaCava deflected by Ofemu.
I think you're 100% right. This match is a long way from over.
That was Derry Korf.
They will keep coming, Red Bulls too, and they've had a few chances already. They'll have more chances. Maybe some fresh legs will help Philly.
David Rabadan and Selmir Miscic. Miscic, who's listed as a midfielder, he scored a goal this season, scored the lone goal for Union 2 in the loss to Red Bulls 2. Miscic comes on for Sorensen, who had the cramping issues. And Danny Flores' night is done as well as the native of Madrid. Rabadan comes in. Off the corner kick, cleared by Huckabee, and we'll do it again. Strap in, folks. The final 15 minutes of this one is sure to have at least one more twist. Red Bulls 2 are in go mode. Talon Energy corner kick. Clark with the outswinger. It's a low ball, falls to the middle. Shot on, just wide. Red Bulls 2 nearly had their equalizer. Barry Sharifi. As we take another look, that's the last action before the final hydration break. Let's see how close it was.
Some poor defending to allow that ball to hover around the edge of the box, and nearly punished by Barry Sharifi.
During the hydration break, we can take a look at what else is on tap. You know, this is a packed week for USL football. 3 more games tonight, and then a whole host of games on Saturday as we take a look at these two teams individually. And for Union 2, they have 2 chances, Gary, for redemption against a Hartford side that they went up 2-0 on and then ultimately lost the game 3-2, and then they get Red Bulls 2 again.
Sure. And then Atlanta 2, and then at Tampa Bay Rowdies. So, yeah, look, it's and they're coming thick and fast, aren't they, these games?
But they can expect reinforcements once this MLS is Back tournament is over. For Red Bulls 2, Riverhounds will have their chance at redemption. You get a lot of these revenge games with playing so many games against the teams in your group, and then 2 against Loudoun, and we've yet to really see what Loudoun is about yet this year.
Certainly would help these youngsters to have a few of the senior players just come in and play alongside them. You learn from the older players. You learn on and off the pitch. What are they like in the locker room? How do they motivate themselves? How do they deal with a loss after the game? And of course, during the game, they learn a whole ton. So for Jacinski and all these young players, they'll want 1 or 2 of the senior Philadelphia Union players to come and join them as soon as possible.
You know, right now, Union 2 are not just dealing with the loss of some MLS guys. Cole Turner is with the team, Jack DeVries, and Matt Freese, the goalkeeper. But Jamoy Tope out of this one. Ben Martino, the goalkeeper, out. Saeed Diaz, Issa Ryan, Yomi Shintu. Here's Rito. Well won by Union 2, an option to run. Hot. Just a little too much, and then takes a flailing ball off of his side. One back though by Rito, and it's out last touched though by Red Bulls 2.
Okay, very positive from the home side, and I guess if you're going to win this match, you don't want to sit back and allow Red Bulls to attack you. You want to attack them, catch them on the counter. They have to push forward, you know that. So, you know, maybe there's a chance for a 4th goal here for Union 2 and kill this game off. Referee having a word between the players. Things will get heated now as we get towards the end of the match and everything's on the line.
Samad Buntong. Hot. LaCava. Back for LaCava. Had one more if he could just get it off. It stays with Red Bulls. Korf. Derry Korf just in front.
Whew. Good defending there from Union 2, but Red Bulls just probing around the edge of that box. When you've got the likes of Korf and LaCava running at you and Caden Clark able to find little gaps there, it's going to take some good defending to keep Red Bulls out. But they've got some fresh legs, Union 2, so those fresh legs are going to have to do a little bit of extra carrying for those to help those who've been on for the full 80 minutes so far.
A chance to turn, very narrow right now, and that is a free kick in a dangerous position, won by Clark, and a chance to put service into the box.
Back to what Marlon LeBlanc said earlier, don't give away unnecessary set pieces, because eventually someone will score from them, and that's what they've done here. Let's see if they live to regret it.
Red Bulls haven't really been able to take advantage of these opportunities yet tonight. Union have now conceded 14 fouls in the game. Sharifi's a bit too far to take it on from goal, although that's about the same spot that we saw Fulham hit it in the other day. This goes to the back post, and it's out of the reach of the outstretched Elney.
It was a good idea, wasn't it? He's complaining he got hit in the face there, but I think it was just accidental. But the idea was good. You knock the ball from a set piece at the far post and you try and get someone sliding in, and they weren't too far away there, Red Bulls, from pulling that one off.
Start to get to the point of the game where I'm sure Marlon LeBlanc is counting the seconds. This game can't end soon enough for Union 2, although they could clinch it if they get one more. Sullivan turns, sees Mcglynn, gets it to him. Jack Mcglynn feeds it inside. Sullivan deflected and then punched away, but nearly a fourth.
Wow, good save from the goalkeeper there, Lapsley, and that was a vital save as well. Credit these youngsters. They are going at Red Bulls too, and they are looking for that fourth. They're saying, we're going to win this match. We're not going to sit back and let you attack us. We're going to go for you. Fantastic football.
Aiden Stafford will make his season debut. Paxton Aronson off.
16-year-old Paxton Aronson, very well played. Very well done at that age. Look at this chance here. And it bobbles up, comes in, hits it. Keeper makes a really good save. Coach is thinking it's a fourth. Oh, so close.
Fans, follow your side on ESPN Plus. I don't have to wait for a moment because LaCava is barreling down the right side. Jake LaCava deflected out for a corner. Now you can follow your team on ESPN Plus and the rest of the USL Championship all season. Home to the USL, MLS, UFC, and more. Join the nearly 8 million sports fans who have already discovered ESPN Plus and watch the championship live every week. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com.
Good defending again from Union 2. They really are being resolute and giving the coach exactly what he asked for.
Clark to the top of the box. Heavy touch from Rito. Deflected. Sharifi has to resort to defensive tactics. Here come Union again. Loads of space for Sullivan down the left side, and his last touch just failed him.
The idea was good, execution wasn't, but again, creating little opportunities. Union, if you'd have watched them a week or two ago, they might have just sat back and tried to hold on to this lead. They just didn't give me the sense they believed in themselves. But right here, they believe that they're going to win this game, and they just want to wrap it up. They don't even want to keep it at 3-2. They want to make it 4-2 and get this thing done and dusted.
Plenty of room. Red Bulls not giving up just yet. That went across the face of goal. And it finds its way out for a throw. The USL's elite pre-professional platform, the USL Academy, allows clubs across the USL to build a pathway to pro soccer by bringing together top local youth talent. Following the success of the first Academy Cup events, clubs can now apply to participate in the USL Academy League, kicking off spring 2021. For more information, visit usl-academy.com or search hashtag USL Academy on social media.
This is where Union 2 have to start working the clock down, but run it by the 85th minute. Obviously, you try and get an extra goal to finish the game off, but if it doesn't come, you've got to learn just to wind the clock down for 5 minutes, and, well, unless you want to score a fourth goal.
Rabadon, met by two defenders, tries to turn away from it and was fouled. A cheap foul that allows Philly to set something up here. Union 2 have not beaten Red Bulls 2 since May 16th, 2018.
Yep, there's this little clash of legs there. Down goes Rabadon, and it does two things. It buys some time, and it gives you an attacking opportunity if you're Union 2.
Union 2 looking for their first win since last September in Marlon LeBlanc's head coaching debut for this side after Sven Gartung and the Union parted ways earlier today. Red Bulls 2 still have something to say about it. It's Jake LaCava. He'll whip it in. Nobody on the other end to meet it. Clark tracks it down. Rito has a long way to go to get there. He does. Poked out for a throw. That was last touched by Rito.
It's frustrating there for John Wolniak. Can't believe, I'm sure that he can't believe that his team's 3-2 down, because this was a team that they hammered 5-1 a couple of weeks ago. And he would have thought that his team would get a similar result, and it looked like it when they got back to 2-1 after 1-0 down. You thought, okay, here they go at 2-1, but again, I've said it a few times, I'll say it again, fantastic credit to Union 2 for not only coming back and leveling it at 2-2 just before half-time, but now taking the 3-2 lead.
Elney tries to slip it in for LaCava, just too much on it. Butler taking no chances. I wouldn't say, Gary, that it's been a perfect outing for Union 2 tonight, but a complete outing so far.
Well, assuming they get the 3 points, I don't think they can do much better, because this is a very, very good Red Bull side, and we saw that when they beat Pittsburgh Riverhounds. And I mean, they've played well. It's not like they've been lucky. Union 2, they've had their chances, and they've missed a few, they've taken a few. It's been a great performance, but it's not over yet.
Gary Korf just held on to it too long. Jacinski flings it forward. Approaching 2 minutes to go, plus stoppage time.
I think something else that Union 2 can take out of this match is they found themselves a little star in Patrick Bowie, who scored the one, nearly set up another, and flicked on for a third. He had a major part to play in this game.
Boateng sends it forward. Back to him. Sharifi looks. Down the right side, Rito is onside. To the byline he goes. Edgardo Rito gets his cross in. And a confident clearance in the end. We'll see one more substitution to try and turn this game around for Red Bulls 2. It's Tapiwa Shumba. Keenan Hott, in his first game of the season, was active in the midfield in the second half.
Much time to influence the game, though, is it? Like a minute and a half left. You know, it's just wonder what the coach wants you to do in those couple of minutes. I always like to see players have maybe 5-10 minutes at least, just to be able to impact the game somehow. But you never know, it might be an inspired substitution. We'll find out.
Looks like more cramping down on the pitch. I'm being told that we'll see at least 7 minutes, maybe 8 of stoppage time, which is a little more time to influence the game than we initially thought.
Wow. And that's also something that's changed. I mean, the water breaks have changed, the 5 subs have changed, but because of the water breaks, the added time at the end is sort of psychologically, you can't, you know, you think, oh, I can see the match down to the 90th minute, we'll win, but 7 minutes added is a lot. Maybe that's what he's saying.
That guy too.
Juan LeBlanc saying, I thought I had it, and now there's another 7 minutes.
He said, I counted about 1.
But still, no matter what happens, what a wonderful coaching debut to have. I guess it doesn't mean to say he's going to have a great future, but it certainly looks like he's able to impact his players, and that's a fantastic sign. So good luck to Martin LeBlanc.
It'll be 8 minutes. You would think there might even be an extra bit of action or two after that 98th minute, since we got the restart underway about 15 seconds later, and you can always account for stoppage time within stoppage time, right?
Yep, you certainly can. And while you're watching this, there'll be 2 sets of players and managers who will be very happy with this result, I would think, and that'll be Pittsburgh and Hartford, because Red Bulls is their major challenger, and if the score stays the same, Pittsburgh will remain 3 points clear, having played the same number of games. So given how tight this group is, this result is a massive one for the group.
Each team will have played 5 of their 16 games for the 2020 season. Each team in Group F will play each other 3 times. This is the second meeting for these 2 teams.
And it just shows you can turn a result around from being beat 5-1, they're 3-2 up, Union 2. Whatever happened before can be different.
Look out. Josh Encarnacion says nothing doing. It looked like Jacinski who was in. No, that was actually Sullivan. And we've got another player down, that's Boateng. Red Bulls 2, though, pushing forward. They don't have any time to wait on it. Clark has been active tonight. Into the box, cleared by Ofemu.
Well done, Ofemu. He's been a rock in the center. Other than the goal where he didn't challenge for the long ball, he's been excellent at the back. Now this is his through ball. Is he tripped down for? It's hard to see there, but it certainly looked like he was tripped. Referee didn't give it. And that was Quinn Sullivan going through.
Meanwhile, Boateng is still down on the other end. He's off the pitch. As you get another look, it was Sullivan. Boateng, who's still down now, came in late.
I think maybe Boateng got the ball first, now that I see it in slow motion, so perhaps it was the right call. But again, credit to Union 2. They're not sitting back, and this is a crucial thing. They're not sitting back trying to hold on to their lead. They are actually attacking Red Bulls 2 and saying, we want to get another goal to finish this off. We don't want to hang on to a lead. We want to kill this game off. Wonderful attitude. Here they go again.
Well, things are wide open, and Boateng, who's hurt, somehow manages to get it away, and now he's in serious pain. And it's a problem for Red Bulls too, because they have no substitutions remaining. So if he can't continue, New York will have to finish this game with just 10 men. But look at him back to his feet. You could tell on the run there.
That's worrying, because you can do more damage to an existing injury if you're having to stretch. If anything, he should swap places and move up front where he doesn't have to get the ball and get somebody else in defense. Either way, there's only a few minutes left for New York Red Bulls to impact on this game. had a few chances here and there, but to be fair, again, Union 2 in defense have been pretty solid.
Just one shot on target for Red Bulls 2 in this second half.
Yeah.
Searching for answers, and you see Union's defense, even from the top down, has been stifling in the final 15.
Given the average age is only 17 and a half, as you so well calculated, it's a very impressive performance all round. It really is. From the get-go, when they put pressure on Lapsley in goals and forced a mistake and went 1-0 up, they have really put in a top-class performance today, Union 2. Now, whether they can do that every game when being youngsters, that remains to be seen, but they've set the standard, and the coach has set his own standard, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be demanding this from the young kids every single week.
Well, and I'll tell you what else. Mitch Budler, heading into this game, faced 11 shots on target, and he only made 2 saves.
Another good tackle, committed tackle.
Commits the foul. New York running out of time. He had only made 2 saves facing 11 shots over his first 2 starts. Tonight, he's made 4 saves, and he's faced 6 shots on target.
He's certainly up there for man of the match, Mitch Budler. Even the penalty wasn't really his fault. He was covering for his centre half of Femu. Maybe he didn't get the timing 100% right, but number of saves he's had to make, and some crucial saves as well. And that's great for his confidence, because the error against Pittsburgh was a bad one. Got in a mix-up with Topi, didn't hit the ball out properly, and Dos Santos volleyed it straight back into an empty net. And it was tough for the keeper, but today he's shown his coach that he's got the mental strength and the guts to bounce back and get over errors, and that's what coaches are looking for from young players. Yes, you've got the skills, but have you got the mental aptitude to pick yourself up when things go wrong in the game? And Mitch Budler has shown today that he certainly has that, and in quantities as well.
A win for Union 2 would give them their first 3 points after a draw at the beginning of the season. LaCava gets it in, and Budler meets it. He was screened at the last moment. That nearly became the equalizer.
What a cross from LaCava. He was on the touchline. He almost shoots that ball in. It's a fantastic cross. Great catch from the goalkeeper. But a brilliant bit of skill there from LaCava, and maybe deserved better to get someone on the end of that. But once again, Mitch Budler, safe hands, comes to the rescue there and deals with the problem. And we're on the verge of a fantastic win for Union 2. And I want to keep an eye on the coach, Marlon LeBlanc, at the end, because he's going to be delighted. His players are going to be delighted, and I'm sure they're going to give each other a good few hugs.
Took West Virginia to 6 different NCAA tournaments in his 14 years with the Mountaineers. And now in his first coaching appearance after being hired by Union 2, a chance for a win.
He has been with the U17s and academy up until now, so he does have a sense of what some of these lads, how good they are, but to see them play this well up against a much more mature and stronger side, that can make any coach super happy with his players.
The minimum of 8 minutes have elapsed. Perhaps one more chance for Red Bulls 2. It's confidently cleared. Josh Encarnacion has a look at his watch. He blows his whistle, and for the first time since last September, Union 2 get a win. And it's Marlon LeBlanc's coaching debut. The average age, 17 and a half years old, and Philly Union 2 defeat Red Bulls 2, 3-2.
Look at the enjoyment on those faces at the whistle when half of them fell to the ground, the other half jumped in each other's arms, and Mitch Butler giving them all a hug. And what a fantastic result for Union 2. Tough for Red Bulls because they are such a super side, they would have expected to win.
It's that man's goal, Jack Jacinski, that wins the game for Union 2. He is our Independence Blue Cross man of the match. The goal comes in the 71st minute. Jack Mcglynn credited with the assist. And how happy is that man, Marlon LeBlanc. Full time here at Subaru Park, and a great start for Philadelphia Union fans as they prepare for their MLS is Back semifinal matchup with Portland Timbers. That game starts in an hour's time. They'll come back with full highlights from this one. It's a Union 2 win. We'll be back.
Acme is bringing the fresh every day. Crispy, juicy, delicious. We're cutting fresh, so you don't have to. Slicing fresh in store. Icing, baking, and flower bouquet making. This is how we do fresh. Come and get it. Acme, the official supermarket of the Philadelphia Union.
The summer of 2020 will be unusual and historic. Let us write the story together, enjoying the weather while staying safe. Wear a mask when you are outside. Keep up social distancing as we keep up our spirits. The usual destinations may not be open or may have restrictions. Conditions may change, so check websites as the summer goes on. Let us make history by enjoying the sunshine and together beating COVID-19.
Full time here at Subaru Park, and the elated faces of 17 and 18-year-olds really tells the whole story. That's Mitch Butler, who will provide us with our Sun East Federal Credit Union save of the match. It was an early one, and it kept Union 2 in the lead 1-0.
Good save, wasn't it? I think it took a slight deflection, and he's got to get his hand up quickly and get it over the crossbar. Brilliant, but that wasn't all he did. He had a whole bunch of saves, and he's a good leader at the back as well. No wonder he's happy. What an excellent game there from Mitch Butler.
And 17 years old from Lincoln, Nebraska, gets his first win as a keeper. And we can now take a look at our Bimbo Bakery's full-time highlights. This one started early and went the whole distance. 18 seconds in, the 8th fastest goal in USL Championship history.
Yeah, Lapsley trying a little short ball here, and Bowie jumps on it, sticks it in the net there, and the goalkeeper is just taking risks he doesn't need to take. And to be fair, Preston Kilwine isn't even expecting it. He doesn't think the keeper will take that risk, and they get punished.
Now, all 3 goal scorers for Union 2 scoring their first goals of the season, in some cases the first of their careers. And here was Butler trying to make a play as Sebastian Elney draws the penalty and then gets a chance to put it home himself.
Yeah, long ball from the keeper, and Afemu lets it bounce, but Elney, having won the penalty, smashes it down the middle, gives Butler absolutely no chance.
So it's 1-1, and then right before stoppage time in the first half, the Red Bulls, they kept coming, and it really started to look like an onslaught, and it started to look like they were pulling away.
This is a good finish. It turns inside on the right foot, comes back on the left and tucks that one away. Really, really good finish there from Sharif J, just under the keeper's body.
And right before halftime, we were supposed to get 4 minutes of stoppage time. This was right at about the 49th minute.
Bowie with a little flick on Picasso, straight back to Jack Mcglynn, unselfishly. Mcglynn into an empty net, and that's the moment we thought that this team could win the game, because at 2-1 they could have been down and out. They came back, got themselves the equalizer, and then got themselves the winner.
Yeah, and first things first, you know, if you're Axel Picasso and this goes in, that's one of the goals of the year.
Brilliant skill, lovely flick up, lovely volley off the crossbar. Deserved better.
He's surely impressive. We've seen Axel Picasso a couple of times. This is the winner, Jacinski.
Lovely ball from Mcglynn. Jacinski just sort of threads it past the goalkeeper there, but the ball from Mcglynn was excellent. Just tucks it away, and unbelievably, they went for Red Bulls all the way to the end, and you'll see more shots. They've actually got more shots on targets. They didn't it in the first half. Second half, they went for them, and they got the efforts on goals, and they got the result, the 3-2. Absolutely brilliant. Well done, Union 2.
Yeah, these two teams played a game last year, 4-3, that featured 34 total shots. This one, 28, and a great game. Congratulations to Marlon LeBlanc on his first win in a USL game, and for Union 2, their first win of the season. For Gary Bailey, Spencer Siegel signing off from Subaru Park. Plenty more USL action to come tonight and later this week. All around the USL, we're excited to see what's going on, and in this case, it's the Young Boys, Union 2, with a 3-2 victory. Good night, everybody.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.